Welcome back, YouTube. This is the Barber Pastor one more time, bringing you another demonstration. This time we're doing a gentleman's cut, and this particular client's hair is thin and wavy. Now, for beginners, this might present a bit of a challenge. Um, Knowing exactly how to cut uh, thin hair, and with time and patience you can acquire uh, what you need to know in order to cut thin wavy hair. I've started by wetting the hair, parting it, um, and combing it to the side so that so that I can begin to start with shears uh, on the top of the head, and I'm picking hair up, and I'm just gonna work my way back, and I'm basically just going around uh, this client's whole head, making sure that I cut it at a consistent length. I really don't go back and do a whole lot of cross-checking because I'm pretty much eyeing as I go along to make sure that I'm even all the way around. This is a pretty simple haircut that you can master over time, and the more that you do it, the easier that it becomes. I'm sort of angling the hair here, picking it up, holding it at a 90-degree angle, and I'm making sure not to go past my knuckles as I'm cutting. Every now and then I might go past my knuckles, but in theory you shouldn't do that. As you can see, I'm trying to be careful as I'm cutting. It's easy, especially when you start cutting hair for the first time, to cut yourself with shears, but you get better at and you start to perfect um, how not to cut your fingers. So mastery comes with time and experience, of course, just like anything else. Uh, and I think I've said before, I get all kinds of clients in my barbershop, so I'm doing all kinds of hair types, and I feel that uh, you really can't consider yourself an expert until you've learned how to cut any type of hair. It shouldn't matter um, the hair type or the ethnicity of your customer or your client. Um, just being a skilled professional. If someone comes into the shop and they sit in your chair, you should be able to master that. And I believe that is part of the criteria for being a master craftsman or a master barber. And I think pretty much your clients and your customers dictate how good you are, and especially if they, patronize and they keep coming back. Um, that's an indicator that you're pretty skilled. Again, I'm continuing to go around the head, and trying to be consistent in my sections, or cutting in my sections, as I go around. this looks easy in this uh, clip, but when you're first learning, um, it's easy to get frustrated with trying to learn how to master these techniques. But again, that's when mannequins come in handy, because you can practice on those before you move on to actual live subjects. And believe me, I've had to go through plenty of mannequins, especially in barber school. So don't get frustrated while you're learning. Now, it's always important to make sure that the hair is wet when you're doing this type of a haircut. I wouldn't recommend trying to do this while the hair is dry. Uh, I'm combing the hair into the style that my client desired, and I'm continuing to go back to make sure that I'm consistent and that I'm even in the section that I'm working in. And I think I've said this before, but the majority of my videos are going to be demonstrations. If you watch them, I think that there'll always be something in there that you can pick up. And of course, I will bring you tutorials as we matriculate on. And the way that I'm cutting my hair, this person's hair is pretty much formal. And these are pretty much tactics that you'll see people use every day. Little shear over comb. I'm not the best at picking up the shears, but I think I've learned enough to execute well, as you can see. And I have to say that a little bit of product goes a long way, especially on this type of haircuts. Alright, this is starting to come along pretty well. I'm gonna digress. Stay tuned.